It's time! Cincinnati, we gon' rise and up. In the jungle, we unite and up. Trippin' orange and black and white. All day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Now who gotta move rockin' on? Now who wanna move tossing on? Now who wanna move out on? If you got stripes, then you let the city know you rock 'em. Yeah, we got 'em. Yeah, we fought 'em. Like that black and orange up on 'em. Bingo bottle, never stopping. To the beast of feasting on 'em. Who they rockin' with the diamond stripes? Flossin' on the ring. Cincinnati, she's our queen. We gon' show the world who king. Orange in the day, black in the night. Stripes in our
Welcome to Bengals and Brews. I am Del Altman, joined by my co-host, the Big Savage Greg, the Pork Chop, Houday Joe, and special guest today is Game On 513. What's up, fellas?
What's up, man? How's it going?
Up? Another day.
Just woke up from a daily sleep.
And you're not wearing pants for anyone else.
And I'm not wearing pants.
You told us that literally right before this show started.
I put
What
on
up, Parker?
shirt, but I didn't put on any pants.
It's up to everybody in the chat. Crip, Stranger, Jesse, Matt, Parker, Kevin. Appreciate you guys tuning in, as always. We always appreciate the support. Don't know how long we're going to have Game On today, so we're just going to get right into it. There's not a lot of new news. The Bengals are on their little summer break here after a mandatory minicamp before they come back for actual training camp here at the about a month from now, toward July 26th, I think it was, Greg?
Yes, I believe so, yes.
All right. So July 26th, they'll be back. But till then, we'll have some fun shows. Maybe we'll rank some helmets one day. We'll do some different stuff. But today, we haven't had Game On before. So welcome, sir. And tell the people about you if they don't know already, which they probably do.
Yeah. So thank you for having me, first of all. I'm at Game On J Money on Twitter. I run a daily Twitter space, usually Mondays and Fridays all day. And then Tuesdays through Thursdays, it's after work. Just been pretty much a lifelong Bengals fan, Reds fan. I'm an alumni of the University of Cincinnati, so I rep the Bearcats pretty hardcore. Finally, got recognized by a bunch of different people. They love what I'm spitting, and here I am, fellas.
Yeah, awesome. Man, I love the energy and the knowledge you always bring is always nice. So, we always love to have people on, and, we keep it usually a recurring thing. So you might as well just get used to us.
Fuck yeah. And look at this. I got my beer today. It is Midwest Luau Tropical IPA. Somebody left this at my house. I found it nice. And this is what we're rolling with today, fellas. It's a gloomy day outside. I figured I'd bring a little tropicalness to this podcast today.
And I would say I have my Miller Lite, but I might have one here in a minute. So I've got this rum first, a little spiced rum, a little cheap Lady Bly with some cola. So
ooh,
and I got water with Kool-Aid mix in it because I got to work once again.
It's fair.
Yeah. I got a fridge full of Miller Lights, though.
No Four Locos?
No, man, I'm done with Four Loko. I don't know if you know about me and the Four Loko Game On, but it's not a good mix, buddy.
It's not a good mix for anybody.
I was going to say, man.
I'm a guy that had to learn every lesson I got the hard way, man, and I learned
more than
the
once.
hardest.
More than once.
Pork Chop, you ever watched Rusty Featherstone? You know who that is?
No.
Okay, I got to send you a clip. He actually did a beer. He does beer reviews, and he did Four Loko as one of his reviews, and he drank 6 of them in one night.
Whoa!
It's hilarious.
He's still alive. He's still alive.
He's still alive.
That's a surprising part.
I went to Strawberry Ice's house, man, and I had 6 Bud Lights and then topped it off with a Four Loko, and then. The next thing I know, I woke up in my bedroom and it was 4:00 in the morning. I had no idea how I got there.
Yeah.
Why not?
Makes you black out.
Greg knows how I got there because he drove me to the house and then he was scared of my wife.
Yeah. Like I've never had more than one. I think I've drank Four Loko maybe 2 or 3 times in my life. All times blackout. But I never drank more than one. I was drinking other stuff too.
I got to tell you though, every time I go to UDF, man, I walk past that Four Lokos to go to the beer cave and I hear it. It's like, hey, Pork Chop.
Yeah.
Remember me? That was fun.
I looked at it this morning when I was picking up a 6 or a Miller Lights.
He just can't help himself. He's gonna end up doing it again because
I am.
I mean,
I know.
I'm an idiot.
Four Loko is what I'll drink if I really hit rock bottom in life, and I just want to forget everything.
Or if
That's
you
what
want to
I'm
see,
getting the Four Loko.
if you want to see what rock bottom's like, people are like, you got to hit rock bottom. Be like, well, fuck it, I got me a can of rock bottom right here.
Yeah. Or you're super low on funds, and it's like, I got like $3. What am I gonna do? I want to get a little fucked up.
Like, man, I want to get fucked up, and all I got's $3. Four
It's
Loko,
better
baby.
than a Colt, right? Better than a Colt.
There
You know
you
what?
go.
I haven't had Colt. Maybe I need to try that next.
Yeah, no go.
Yeah,
No go.
don't do it.
Malt
Chuck.
liquor stuff.
It's like
Oh,
Four
dude.
Locos.
See, when
It
people
tastes
are saying
like
that-
beer.
People are saying something's better, like Four Loko is better than something. That means you don't want to try the other thing, child.
Okay, all right.
But anyways, we won't really pass this around the horn too much because our opinions on a lot of this stuff has been out there. So a lot of this will be more directed to Game On here. So, and you guys can ask questions too as you think of them. But we'll just start kind of with free agency and maybe some moves you didn't see coming, whether that was guys we retained or didn't retain, and then moves you liked, and just how you think the overall free agency went for us this year.
So straight up free agency, I mean, I think every single one of us, the night that Orlando Brown Jr. got signed, was absolutely fun. Like we had no idea that was coming, right? I'm sitting there watching the Bearcats winning an IT game. My phone goes off, and I'm like, holy shit, the Bengals just did something. And my wife's like, quiet it down. Our 2 kids are sleeping. I'm like, no, I'm not going to quiet it down. We got a left tackle of the future. Let's go. I ran downstairs, opened up a space, was on until like 2:30 in the morning. It was crazy night for us. I mean, you guys know how uncertain the offensive line has been in the depth of the offensive line. And to get somebody like Orlando Brown, 4-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro, Super Bowl champion. It's just, it was music to my ears. And at the value that we got.
I was going to say, at 16 mil too.
Yeah.
Insane. So I mean, that one, I wasn't expecting to lose Von Bell. I know everybody.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that was a lot of us.
That was a hard one.
I was like, okay, well, we got the veteran presence in Vaughn to really help along Dax Hill. We're going to be really good at safety for a really long time. So wasn't expecting to lose Von Bell. And then the pivoting at tight end, I part of me was like, okay, Hayden Hurst might come back. And then part of me was like, okay, we're going to get one of these other tight ends. I didn't actually think it would be Irv Smith. I thought Irv Smith would be interested in multiple teams, and another team would probably choose him for his athleticism. But I go back to the Bengals and what they did for C.J. Uzomah, what they've done for Hayden Hurst. Guy coming in, one great year, bam, finds a huge deal the year after. Yep. And so to me, that's a match made in heaven, and I think they can really expand on that. I mean, other than that, man, Trevor Siemian, right? Not resigning Brandon Allen.
That's good.
And, okay, so Brandon Allen, a cerebral mind, right? He allows Burrow to see everything on the field. They're always in each other's ear on the sideline. Not resigning Brandon Allen, I was like, okay, well, are they going to go for that type of quarterback that sees the field really well but just can't put it together himself? Or are they going to go after a legitimate backup quarterback? And fellas, they went after a legitimate backup quarterback. And Trevor Siemian 2 years ago, 11 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, I think 95 quarterback rating in like 6 games with the Saints, ended up 5-1. I mean, you got to love that.
Before that, they went after Cooper Rush, and I didn't see that at all.
No,
thing.
Didn't see it.
But
like, I mean, when you go up against a quarterback that kind of picks you apart, and he did in that first half of the game, and he used Noah Brown to the best of his ability doing that. You can't help but want that for your team, right? So
I just didn't. I was like, man, right then and there, I was like, oh shit, they're actually going to try to improve this backup position. And I still think Siemian will probably be more of a 1 year, and like you're a little higher on him than I guess some of us are. But I mean, what you're saying is all truth. So if he can just be a little bit better, if you need him in a pinch, like that's the thing. He's never going to be able to replace Burrow if he's out multiple games. But we're talking like, Burrow's dinged up for a half. Maybe it's a concussion protocol thing or something. You just never know.
We're talking about the number 1 seed, right? If the ultimate goal is to get the number 1 seed, if Burrow goes out for 2 games, you need a quarterback to step in. You would rather have a Trevor Siemian than a Brandon Allen every single day of the week to help you out there. And if he knows the system He's worked with Burrow in the offseason. He understands everything well. I think he'll come in and he'll do just fine because the rest of the team around him, it's set up for success. So,
well, Phil took our shot, man. He called our shot, so we got to bring him to the river now. Can't leave Phil hanging.
Was there a free agent out there that you had your eye on? You're like, man, he'd look really good in stripes. Like, I know for me, like I and Greg, we were both on Gesicki, and another guy we talked about on the show, like Dale and I talked a lot about Jerick McKinnon. Were there any guys that were out there? You're like, man, I really hope we could get him, and we didn't land.
I'll toss in Jawan Taylor real quick too. Was one before the process started. I was like, oh, right tackle, was the thought.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Leonard Floyd was on my mind. 9 sacks the past 3 years, or 9+ sacks the past 3 years. And just that level of production to be able to rotate in and out. And then the other one was Matt Ioannidis. I wanted at 3 tech.
He's still out there.
Got a raw deal last year. I don't know what they're doing with that quarter. Did you see he's 310 pounds? That's not a 3 tech, people. We got to debate. I mean, we got to talk about it. 310 pounds is not a 3 tech. 3 tech is like 280, 285 max. Maybe they moved Cam Sample over. There's something brewing there, people. I don't know what we're doing at 3 tech, but it sounds to me like Zach Quarter might be moving more to that off-nose DJ Reader type backup position. I have no idea, but 310, that's a lot for 310.
Yeah, because he played at Florida, around the 280, 290 mark. And I don't know what he was at last year, but I'm sure it was similar.
285.
Yeah. That's what I read is over the offseason, he put on 20 pounds of muscle.
Yeah. So, I mean,
maybe if he kept his speed and agility, and I don't know. We'll see, I guess, if he's still.
The one thing that I loved about him first year, even though he wasn't so much of a pass rusher, was he was a really, really good run defender. And you could count on him, especially in that Ravens game. I think he had 3 critical stops in that Ravens game that helped us get off the field, especially in the closing of that game, late in that game. So I would like to see them expand on that. And maybe they know that. And maybe they're giving guys like Cam Sample an opportunity inside, the guy who he's like 275, 280. Maybe they move him inside and they have a real plan there.
Chop says some weird shit, but
he's a crip.
But anyway, so my brother said Juan Thornhill. I think after we lost both safeties, I was kind of interested in him. And who was the other guy? We ended up with Nick Scott as another free agent we brought in. But who was the other Rams player that I thought
Taylor Rapp?
That ended up with the Bills.
And I reached out to there's Tom Courts who runs the Rams beat. And then there's another guy out there whose name precludes me right now, but both of them were saying that Nick Scott was the more sought after player than Taylor Rapp, even though the PFF grades show Taylor Rapp probably at a higher level.
Yeah, he was.
They were enamored with wanting back Nick Scott just because of what he did for their team, how hard of a hitter he was, that veteran presence, the big winning moments. He had the interception, I think, against the Seahawks in the playoffs. He had a really, really good run in that 2021 season when, he was on that defense. They went to the Super Bowl. They won against us. And he played really, really well in those playoffs. So I think their fan base was really looking forward to him building with that team.
Well, that's what I feel like is that when the two of them came in, everybody here in Cincinnati wanted Taylor Rapp, and and then we got Nick Scott. We're like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah. And you know what they said? They said, look, he's fine in the box, but he's slow as shit. You can't really use him deep at all. Taylor Rapp will get burned, and as far as him going one-on-one with somebody, he's toast. Like it doesn't work out. But if you keep him in the box, he'll be fine. And with Nick Scott, they're like, dude can cover deep. He could cover over the middle. There were certain situations where they used him, and we felt like he could be used differently. Hopefully, Lou taps into that, and that's something that we can build on.
Hey, 513. So at the NFL draft, I was at Paycor for the draft night. I guarantee you, everybody in that room thought it was going to be Michael Mayer, me including myself, and all that. I mean, so when we got Myles Murphy, I don't want to say I was mad. I was just in shock, like a bunch of other people were. Looking back now, I'm happy about it. My question to you is, draft overall, who was your favorite pick of the draft if you had to pick one?
Man. I think I got to go with DJ Turner, right?
Yes.
Take a look. When you take a look at DJ Turner,
Love this guy.
Press man, top-rated corner in the NCAA. That's what the Bengals like to run, that combo, right? One side zone, the other side press man. That's why Cheeto was the most targeted cornerback before he got hurt last year in those 9 games. He was targeted like nine times a game, and Eli was targeted like 3. And it's because he was he was either playing press or he was playing man coverage the entire game. So, to get his replacement in DJ Turner, you get that speed. You also get the element, fellas, of if we're in a Mike Hilton versus Marquez Valdez-Scantling situation, now we can put DJ Turner in that. We got a little speed in there. We got somebody who can keep up with them in the interior. And all he really needs to do is just bulk up a little bit on the upper body to be able to handle that physicality at the point of attack.
DJ Burner.
There you go. That's it, right?
Drago.
Love it.
I mean, when the man's got a name, he literally has a name, Juan Drago, you can't fuck with that.
Yeah.
Right.
Strike fear into people just coming on the field with him.
Well, 513, if you follow me, you'll know who my favorite pick of the draft was, which was Yossi Vosh out of Princeton. I mean, I just think he's going to be major steal. I got to ask your opinion on Yossi Vosh.
Oh, man. I mean, you got Olympic speed, and they've already said that he's been excelling at gunner. That's everything that you wanted from a special team situation. Last year, Dax Hill, when he was asked to play that position, had a couple of blunders, didn't work out. Stanley Morgan, not really the type of guy that you want on the field for your offense. He's been a great special teamer, but you need a guy that is multifaceted. I love the fact that he's playing well as a gunner. You can use that Olympic speed. And then maybe this is a suggestion that I threw out. Remember the Chiefs game, week 13, Chris Evans comes on the field. He's the forgotten man, the crossing route touchdown, right? What if Yoshivash is that guy, right? What if
Greg will come all over the entire fucking stadium.
Dude, I will go with my shirt off like all stadium.
What if you got all 4 of those guys on the bench? Who are you guarding, fellas? Who you got?
Exactly.
All of them have great intangibles that you can't teach to anybody. 3 of them are number 1 wide receivers, and Yossi is the forgotten man on the field. He's going to get crazy. And my comparison for him, me and one of my buddies and I talked off pod about him. He reminds me a lot of like a Christian Watson, fellas. I feel like he can do like a lot of jet sweeps. If you get him open in space, it can be a real disaster for the defense. I really love him.
Greg, do you need to excuse yourself?
Yeah,
I need to
take care of something.
Buddy, I really need to excuse myself, man. Hold on for 1 second.
I love it.
I'm good. Dude, I'm sorry.
That was it.
That was it right there, man. Dude.
Greg, I'm proud of you for keeping your shirt on that whole time.
I know, man. I don't want to scare him off immediately, but dude, that was awesome, bro. I mean,
Greg, I've seen you on obviously Bengals and Brews, but you've been on on a couple of other podcasts, and I've commented on them. I love your energy. I love your enthusiasm, brother. Keep it up. That's what Houday Nation's all about.
He wants to see Greg like the rest of them.
They don't call me Sam for no reason.
The wide receiver, the wide receiver debate. Remember the all-time wide receivers? And Greg and he talked about Randy Moss. He talked about T.O.
We were just fucking.
No, he was just messing with me, man.
Ours was actually Jerry Rice as well.
Oh, I know. At one point, he took his shirt off and he swung it around. He was going crazy.
That's a good question for you, though, Game On. Who's the number 1 tight end in the history of the NFL
tight end
so far?
Is great.
Don't get this wrong, buddy. You're on my good side. Do not get on my bad side.
Oh, this is tough, man.
You're not getting on my bad side.
He threatens people.
I'm kidding.
You'll get the bat out in a minute.
Who you were so passionate about?
I mean, I'm a 90 guy, right? I was born in 90, so I watched the Shannon Sharps of the world, the Tony Gonzalez's. I've watched Travis Kelce. I've watched Rob Gronkowski. I mean,
no hints, Greg.
It's Rob Gronkowski with Brady, man. He helped win in so many critical moments.
Damn WD-40 on that chair, Greg.
In the Super Bowl. it just feels like Rob is that guy, man. And he came out of nowhere. Nobody saw him coming. I think he was a third rounder of a small school.
I think he went. Did he go second from Arizona?
Gronk?
It was his back issues. Like
Yeah.
I think, and then Hernandez, I think, went third.
But a lot of people weren't.
They were those killers in that draft.
They didn't know what he could be. You know what kind of tight end he would be. It wasn't like an extreme amount of hype around this guy. Like he didn't have that kind of hype, and he ended up just blossoming into this guy that Brady could rely on in key critical situations, in big time games, and time again, he delivered. He delivered against the Steelers. He delivered against, the Falcons. He delivered against all these teams, the Carolina Panthers, all these teams that ended up winning them Super Bowls or ended up winning them critical games.
Man, I've never seen Greg's orgasm face until just now.
Yeah, it just
like,
one after
Greg
another
is crushing on you
Yeah,
so hard right now.
He took Yossi
If I were
topped it
to
off
give
with
my
Gronk.
other two, they're both in Kansas City. One of them is Travis Kelce, and the other one, third right now for me, would be Tony Gonzalez.
Yeah, Greg don't care about 2 and 3 as long as you hit that number 1.
Yeah,
Iceman would say Sharp, which Iceman keeps being in the chat, and he I don't know why he didn't just come on today, but he's talking Reds, which we're not talking Reds right now. And then my brother here says Baby Gronk is already the best tight end according to his dad. Have you guys seen that bullshit out there?
Oh my
god!
God.
It's awful,
Greg changed
man.
his name already.
I changed my name.
He needs a bunch of dads to go to him and really talk to him about what it means to be a father. Because right now, this guy is the furthest thing from being a father. Right. He has fame. He has fortune on his mind. His heart is not in the right place. That is a really bad situation.
That kid is going to be so traumatized growing up from the choices his dad is making right now. And he's answering stuff. And actually, if you guys saw that interview, he's trying to answer it. And actually, some of them a legitimate way, I'm going to train harder. And he says no, man, you're going to slay all these women and the best ever. And just what is wrong with you, man?
And the craziest part, fellas, is you're in an environment of what you were raised in, right? And so his father's a complete douche. This kid might grow up and be just that because of his dad. If society does not do something about
either that or he's going to have issues because his dad's like that. I know you guys are youngsters, but I grew up watching Gary Coleman. It was the same thing. He was an actor on TV, and his parents ran his life, and he hated that shit. It could turn out to be something like that.
You went in the Wayback Machine there.
I know, man.
Do you think he's worse
got
than
into
LeVar
fucking
Ball?
DeLorean and went back.
Do you think he's worse than LeVar Ball is with Lonzo and all them?
We didn't get all the behind the scenes of them when they were that young. As part of it.
I think LeVar Ball, if you watched, and I watched a little bit of their little series, he just seems like he's a great father figure, but he's also an entertainer.
Hype man.
He's an entertainer, a hype man. Yeah, he knows how to bring people, to watch him, but he's also a tremendous father to his kids and really uplifts them in a way that shows them their true potential or what they can be. So I mean, no comparison for me. Exactly.
Hey, I know we only got about 6 more minutes with you. Dale, did you have something else? Otherwise, I had a Bengals related topic before we get them out of here.
I mean, I was going to do some more about the draft.
Okay.
Fellas, I mean, it can be. The kids are coming down here. If you don't care, I'll stay on.
Yeah,
but
have a little time. And Joe, you don't have long, so we can skip back to the draft. I know you were going to get off here too, Joe. If Game One's got extra time, then you go ahead and get your question in.
Yeah. So, just wanted your take as far as the running back room. There's, we still don't know. I think the safe assumption is Mixon is probably going to be our starting running back.
Yeah.
Week 1. What do you think about the guys behind him with Chase Brown and Travion as Chris Evans, a casualty? What do you think, and what kind of role?
There's still a move out there, even for me.
Or if there's another move, here's some top running back names that are still out there: Dalvin Cook, Ezekiel Elliott, Leonard Fournette, Kareem Hunt. Those are just some names that are still out there.
That's crazy. I don't think the Bengals want to spend any more money on the running back room. I think it's pretty much set in stone. I don't know if they go with 3 or 4. That's going to be a big debate, fellas. When we get to that whole, who is that 53rd man? Who's that 52nd man? That's going to come down to, a Chris Evans, a Stanley Morgan, potentially, a Michael Thomas at the safety position, all these guys, right? But to answer your question on the running back room, I love the fact that they got Chase Brown. Here's a guy that went in the 5th round just because he got a ton of volume in that 1 year, averaged, I think, over 30 carries per game, right? But he's the exact same change of pace back that you had one time ago in Giovanni Bernard. Like the exact same player, more athleticism, fellas. Like if you actually watch their athletic tapes, Chase Brown's more athletic, and he's built. The way that he's built, they're similar in build, but Chase Brown models his running game after Joe Mixon. He's got a one cut to him. He's got a lot of elusivity. A younger change of pace Mixon to mix with the older Mixon. I think that's really great. And let me just say this too. I think a lot of people are underselling what Travion Williams can be. If y'all don't remember that Tennessee Titans game, that 3rd down conversion, I think in the 3rd quarter, he also had the big play in the 4th quarter. He had the 8-yard carry. When this guy has come on the field, he has stepped up time and time again wherever they've asked him to play. When they asked him to play kick returner, he excelled at that. When he's come on the field as a running back, just as a blocker, he's excelled at that. So I think this kid really needs to get his shot. And I think he could be a 3rd down back this year with a 1-2 punch of Mixon and Brown and Mixon and Brown sharing snaps. But I like that in the running back room. And the other thing that I'm hearing, and I'm hearing it from people who are in the know, is that Chris Evans is showing a different side of himself now.
Really?
Some people have said that like he's looking the part, and so far he's impressing coaches. So I don't know if that equals a trade down the line for something that we need, maybe another tight end. I don't know if that equals him making the roster and potentially filling in elsewhere outside the running back room. But just to have that depth and somebody who's been in the system for 4 years now that knows where he's supposed to be and when, I think it is something to be valued. So we'll see what ends up happening there. I'm comfortable with the running back room as it is, though. Like, I think Travion can build on what he's done already. I think that Chase Brown is like a gold mine. You're talking about a guy that had a ton of explosive. I think he was 2nd in explosive runs in the NCAA behind Bijan last year. Missed forced tackle rate, 2nd in the NCAA. Had a lot of carries. People say 8 fumbles. Well, yeah, 32 carries a game. You're going to have 8 fumbles on 32 carries a game. Yeah. And Mixon, the other thing, too, that people want to, shit on this guy for, Mixon had a 90 carry per fumble rate, too, when he came out of college. And I think he's had 3 fumbles in the NFL. So the Bengals know how to clean that up. I like the running back room where it is, fellas.
That was really well said. The only quick follow-up I had about Evans, I was listening to Goodberry talk a lot about him, and we were all, I think every Bengals fan at one point or another has clamored for more Chris Evans, and because they see those flashes in the preseason where he's breaking off these long runs, it's getting called back for holding penalties. And I heard Goodberry talking a lot about it. He's like, they're getting called back for holding because he's not going where he's supposed to go.
That's correct.
The offensive line is expecting him to go one way. He's going another way. He's not following the play design. He's just so athletic that he's able to make a move, forces the guy to hold. And then another thing he showed was this OTAs, a drill that all the running backs are going through, where the running back coach is saying, all right, come to this orange marker and then make your cut and adjust to where, I plug in this hole. And everyone follows the directions, but Chris Evans ignores it, doesn't go to the orange hole. He's not following directions. And so that's just one very, small thing. But he's
which is probably why he's been in
maybe-
the doghouse. Why we've
maybe
all...
that's maybe
Right.
these are the kind of things on why he's in the doghouse, because he's
Exactly.
just not following directions.
This is exactly it. In order to be on the field, you have to be able to take direction, and you have to be able to whatever playbook, whatever a coach tells you to do, you have to be able to take that and you have to be able to run with it. He hasn't been able to do that. Why he's on the bench right now, and why he's potentially, fellas, we can all agree, fighting for a roster spot here this year in September.
But if he is showing flashes and he is doing what he's supposed to, and it comes down to keeping 4 running backs, which I think would be, his spot there. I've said like 7 receivers a lot when we do kind of our roster breakdown stuff.
Yeah.
Is there I can't remember if it was you on Jeff's show or if it was Tyler on our show Friday night. One of you guys said about Trenton Irwin. Was it you?
No,
they could see Trenton Irwin in a trade. That might have been.
I said if they're going to keep Stanley Morgan, we got to look at Trenton Irwin. One of these guys you have to be able to stash on practice squad. Who's it going to be? To me, Michael Thomas makes the most sense. He's 33 years old. I don't think another team is picking that up in order to put them at safety at this point in his career. Like, that makes a lot of sense to me. I don't know if you're keeping 7 wide receivers, though. If you're keeping 4 running backs, and the other thing too is you lost Clay Johnston. Who's stepping up into that role? They got Jalen Moody and they got Shaka Hayward as undrafted free agents from Duke and from Alabama. Both guys that have been big time special teamers. So if one of those guys make the roster, that's just another guy that you're looking at. That you're
along with Bocce and Bailey
and then the one that I mentioned was Devon Shaw Maxwell. If Devon Shaw Maxwell came from Chattanooga, I think he led that conference in sacks, right? His entire career, he set the career record for most sacks. If he ends up balling out, they could potentially trade him for something of value, either at the tight end position or elsewhere, just because they've got 10 guys that are pretty much set in stone. And the edge guy, there was the other edge piece guy that they picked up from OU. I can't remember his name right now. But
Terrell Basham.
But there's just not a lot of room right now in the defensive line.
No.
So, I mean, some of these guys are going to end up balling out, and the Bengals are going to try to make their moves where they can, either get extra draft picks or get an extra guy that can help them out in a position of weakness.
Hey, well, you talk about like trading, maybe possibly trading for someone else, but at what position do you think that the Bengals would trade to bring someone in?
Well, I mean, if center doesn't look good, fellas, on the back end, like if Trey Hill still doesn't have any, he looks like a cement mixer, then I would think they're probably looking at backup center. Ben Brown, they did get him in UDFA last year, and he played really well, I think, in the lead up to the preseason and joint practice, what I saw, and then ended up getting hurt. We didn't get to see the full side of himself, but really excited about him, see what he does. That could be the position right there, center guard. However, Cordell Volson has been taking center snaps. So, see, this team, I'm saying the flexibility, the versatility that they have, they're so far ahead of all these other teams. They're like so far ahead with how they draft, how they're looking at these guys, high character, winning moments. I absolutely love what they're doing, how they can slide guys into other positions, and it's going to pan out for them in the end.
Yeah, they've definitely valued versatility, and that's when you were talking about like Nick Scott versus Rat. Scott's got more versatility, and that's who they coveted, and they draft guys like that. I think that's one of the reasons they really like Miles Murphy is like, they could kick him inside. He's done some 3-tech, like all of these guys. It's like all of our safety room. It's not just, that guy's a free safety, this guy's a strong safety. It's like, no, you can kind of move them all around and let Luke cook.
And I love what you said about Miles Murphy moving him inside. The NASCAR package is a real thing. It's going to happen this year with Hendrickson, Murphy, Osai, I mean, it's going to be crazy. Hubbard. I mean, these guys are really going to get after it this year. And Lou even said, I don't know what it looks like yet, but this guy's going to play early, often, and on third downs. He's a first-round pick for a reason, people, and they valued him as a top 10 player in that draft. He's going to play significant snaps early and often. And just Osai, at the end of the year, I think week 15 on, he was 40-plus snaps the rest of the season and even into the playoffs. It did leaps and bounds for the defensive line once they actually let him have, full game snaps. So this year, he's going to get full game snaps. Miles Murphy will be in there on third downs, and I think they'll have certain sub packages where they're able to switch these guys in and out. We're going to get to see probably a rejuvenated pass rush. In those fourth quarter moments, we're going to see some big time plays from those guys because they're fresh.
Man, I am super freaking stoked about seeing this defense this year on our line because I feel like that's what we missed out last year was a lot of pressure on the quarterback and putting him on his ass. And this year we got a chance to make these motherfuckers shake in their boots, shaking in their cleats when they come out there and they see Miles Murphy, Sam Hubbard, Trey Hendrickson. They're all on the same out there. DJ Reader, Joseph Osai, all those guys lined up, man. I don't give a fuck if you're Pat Mahomes. You ain't running away from all that shit. And Miles Murphy's fast as fuck too. So go ahead and run, buddy.
Yeah, and Miles Murphy's like the prototypical. He's like Sam Hubbard in that he plays really well in pursuit and contain, but he's also a really good pass rusher that has incredible bend. He's only going to build on that as he only has the one move, the stiff arm move. But once he builds on that, that's going to get better. Like this defense, just if they run some twists and stunts, I mean, that defensive line is going to eat up whoever they're playing. And I think they were like 20th. They were 20th in the league, I think, last year in pressure. And then they were 28th last year, I think, in overall sacks. They're going to get back to the year prior, which was, I think, 43 sacks, which was, I think, 15th or 14th in the league. I could see it and then some. I could see us at 50, maybe even 54.
And with Trey Hendrickson on the sideline a little bit more, he's not going to be gassed so much. So when he's in there, he's going to be a lot more effective. So I can see him going back to his prior year and getting more sacks too.
Yep.
Hey, I'm 513. So the one position that I'm a little concerned about right now is tight end. I mean, I was ready to bet all my money we were going to come away with the tight end. I mean, it just seemed too obvious we were going to draft tight end, but a lot of tight ends kept going. Bengals did the smart thing by not reaching, but I think you can't blame me for being a little concerned because if Irv Smith goes down, who's had injury issues, you're back to Drew Sample and all that. I just still have a feeling there's a tight end out there on another team that will be on our team this year.
Yeah, I gotta believe so too. Watch out too for. I mean, this is an interesting discovery. But Tanner Hudson was taking the snaps when Cal Adamitis was out.
Right.
That might hold some weight to the organization. He might make the roster because he can do multiple things there too. He was with the Giants last year when Daniel Bellinger went down. I think he ended up with like 5 catches for 50 yards against Seattle. So I wouldn't rule him out, but I also agree with you that they need to have another presence there, not just Irv Smith. Maybe a Noah Fant. There's quite a few guys that I'm looking at. The guy who was drafted to the Jets, whose name Kuntz, Zach Kuntz.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Potentially, if they don't want to go with 4 there in New England, if Jeremy Ruckert with the Jets ends up hitting the free agency market, I could see the Bengals going after him for sure.
What about Uzama?
CJ Uzama. CJ's got his cap hit's a little high for them to give up on him though. So they're probably going to hold on to him. But there's a few guys out there. Alberto is the other one from Denver. They ended up getting Dulcich, and then I think they drafted another guy this year. So there's definitely some young talent out there that I think at the end of preseason, teams will be taking a look and saying, I've got 4 tight ends. Who could I reach out to that absolutely needs some versatility at tight end or some depth at tight end that could give us something back?
And you see how we do with late season moves. Like BJ Hill we traded for years ago. We got Reggie Nelson last. We have good luck doing this. So that's why I'm all for this.
Yep.
Yep.
For sure. And one name we haven't brought up from the draft class is our boy Charlie Jones, Chuck Sizzle, and I'd love to get your thoughts as far as I think we all expect him to be our go-to returner, but how much of a role does he carve out? And before you answer, I do have to shamelessly plug.
There you go.
Our merch store. We got our Chuck Sizzle shirts. Check out Bengals and Brews .sellfy.com. I need to change this overlay link in description because I always put the link in, but Dale doesn't. But you can go to our Twitter page, get the link there, get your Chuck Sizzle gear. So yeah, give me your thoughts, Game on our boy Chuck.
Yeah, Chuck came in at 175, 5'11". Not the typical receiver that the Bengals go after. Has more of like a Peter Warrick type build to him. But I'll say this. That dude is fast as shit, number one. Number two, he's versatile. He can play inside and outside. When he was given the opportunity to actually play with Purdue, it was a walk-on originally, I think, at Iowa. Ended up being a kick returner. Went to a team where he felt like he was going to get an opportunity. Ended up becoming their number one wide receiver. And in single season, led them with the most receptions ever in the history of their organization. So, I mean, this kid, and then the other thing is his drop rate is like 0.6%. It's crazy. He's had 2 drops in like 120 receptions. So you got to love that. So what does that bring to the NFL? One of the things that translates most, two things that I love. Accuracy from quarterback easily translates to the NFL. The other one is if a player is catching the football in college, they're going to catch it in the NFL. And this kid, to me, is sure-handed. He's like the next intern Tyler Boyd, but then you can also use him outside, inside, that versatility, kind of like a positionless wide receiving core. And I look, guys, when was the last time that we had a punt returner or a kick returner with that kind of put the fear of God in you, right? I mean, fucking, what's his name? Simmons has been asking for that for years.
Oh, yeah.
For years he's been asking for a punt returner, kick returner. Not since Adam Pac-Man Jones have we had a guy that could flip the field for you and put your offense in a great position to score a touchdown. And this kid is that guy. He's going to do it. And he's going to build in the special teams while at the same time helping out a little bit in the wide receiving core. They're going to find a way to get him on the field for sure, fellas.
And if you want to get hyped up about him, just go watch his highlight tape. That's what, Joe Goodberry put it out there because when we drafted him, people are like Charlie Jones, you know, and then Goodberry put it out there, and I went and watched his highlight tape at Purdue. That son of a bitch is the truth, man.
Right.
He's he's like the last person to leave practice every day. This kid wants it so bad.
Right.
First in, last out. Joe's handing him the keys like lock up when you leave.
A couple of corners in this draft that he mossed or took the ball away from. DJ Turner is one. Garrett Williams over the top at Garrett Williams. Just blew right past him. Joey Porter Jr., who will play in our division. So, guys, when you're doing that at that level and those guys are going in the first round, you're going down to the fourth, you got something to prove, right? That's number one. But number two, that in those situations against that caliber of talent, he's going to win. Now he's going up against nickel corners in the NFL that don't have that type of talent. He's going to win in those situations, fellas.
Goes back to something to watch, man.
Goes back to Yosibas, like you said, man. There's going to be so many receivers, you can't cover them all.
But Greg, this is what I've been hoping for, man. This is what think about last year, fellas. When Tyler Boyd goes off the field, Higgins goes off the field, we have to rely.
Oh, that must be when the kids come down and unplug.
Sorry. I got too excited.
Hey,
that's all right, man.
We had to rely on Mike Thomas. We had to rely on Mike freaking Thomas to come on the field, and he would not run his routes in full. There would be
drop the ball.
There would be dropped footballs. That Ravens gave it. It was right there in his hands, and he drops it on third down. So to not have the Stanley Morgans, the Mike Thomases, these guys that are really only good at one thing, and to have versatile receivers like Yoshi and Charlie, it makes all the difference in the world on the back end of that wide receiving core. All the difference.
Absolutely.
Hey, I gotta get out of here, but these guys will keep talking with you. Game on. This was an absolute pleasure. I appreciate your passion. You're so knowledgeable. Let's please have you on again.
Yes.
I'm sorry I gotta run though. It's been
Absolutely, fellas.
See you,
I
Joe.
love it.
Awesome. Thanks. See ya.
Peace, Joe.
Nice to meet you, Joe.
Glad he's gone.
Yeah.
So 513, we were talking before the show. Paul Dana wrote a thing, and Paul Dana is a very honest person. I like. There's sometimes I'll read an article and I'm like, oh, this doesn't sound too fun, but he's always been honest. But his boldest prediction, I couldn't believe when he said he predicts when we get Joe Burrow signed within a week, he thinks Wilson and Higgins will get signed. And Mixon will take a restructure. If that's the case, I know you'll be on Twitter Spaces probably 24/7 that whole week, and we'll be doing shows. We'll be doing shows.
Take a week off from work, man.
Right, I'll have to be taking a week off from work. We'll be doing 3 shows a day that week.
Multiple Super Bowls coming, fellas. Multiple Super Bowls with Higgins being ready. So people don't really. I think some people are trying to entertain the idea of Higgins being either a trade candidate or Higgins not being resignable, or we won't be able to re-sign Higgins. The Bengals have seen light boxes. The defense is typically in a cover 2 high shell. That means that over the middle of the field underneath is open. It leads you to be able to run the football pretty much at will, and you can run it for 5-6 yards a clip. Okay. The other thing is, if you have a good enough offensive line, the 2 deep corners are open on that. The Bengals want to run the football in an explosive manner in order to get defenses out of that cover 2 so that they will get a defense in cover 3, cover 1, press man, 0, whatever it is. And that's when T. Higgins and Jamar Chase take advantage of the defense. So T. Higgins is absolutely imperative to re-sign to this organization because we want to keep that competitive edge when we're playing defenses that don't primarily play a cover 2. And also, if they're in a bind where they have to play man, and you fellas know when you're in the red zone, you pretty much have to play man, or you can't play cover 2, especially when you're on goal line. That's where we cook. We're top 5 in red zone efficiency for a reason, fellas. It's because T. Higgins and Jamar Chase are both on the field at the same time.
Absolutely. And, I was going to say, do you think that's a reason we've seen Joe doing a little more play action and things like that in practice, because we don't do a lot of under center to have to do play action, but it's because of that cover 2, and they're trying to find that extra wrinkle to be like, okay, we're going to pound the ball maybe a little more. I still don't see us running the ball like a ton more, but we're going to have to make teams think about that. And the play action decides that extra wrinkle. Do you think that's why we're seeing it as a lot, because of that cover 2 in practice at least?
I think it has more to do with how you see the combinations of under center versus in shotgun. Last year when we were under center, we were more either we were going for a 1-yard carry on goal line, or we were going to try to quarterback sneak it. It was very telling. There wasn't any pass towards that. It was that HB toss. You remember that play to the right side? Everybody was like, oh my gosh, no, please. So they have to mix in a little bit more. If they're going to go under center, a little bit more under center has to be mixed in.
Otherwise, I just like to see him stay in shotgun the whole time, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to bring variation, you have to be able to make it you can't
be
let
predictable.
The defense be able to see it, right? If we're under center, they know, it's a run play. The Bengals run it every time they're under center. So we got to be able to mix in some of those passes. And that
when they get in the red zone, we need to run it because Pork Chop got a bet, man. If we score a running touchdown in every single game, my $10 equals $1,000. I turned into I went Derek on that one.
I was gonna say Derek over here.
Where's the Derek, man?
$10 turns into $1,000 if we get a touchdown, running touchdown in every game.
But game 513, back to Orlando. Well, we refer to Orlando Brown as Pork Chop's best friend because me and Pork Chop both got to meet him twice. Like for the Cincy hat thing that when they had down at the Holy Grail. I mean, you look at
look at that.
See that smile on Zeus's face?
That's awesome.
Yeah, he didn't smile that big for anybody else, man.
He's sitting in his lap.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
No, we both got to meet. I got to meet him because I won a thing and all that. It was after work. I was tired and I get a random phone call. Thought it was a scam.
Greg introduced us.
I'm like, who is this? He's like, you won the Orlando Brown thing. Oh, never mind. Thank you so much. I'll be there tomorrow and all that and stuff. So just such a nice guy, Orlando Brown is. And when we got to see him with Ted Karras and Cordell Bolson at the Cincinnati hat event, those guys were there. I probably could have gotten like 20 items signed by all three of them if I wanted to.
Wow.
They were sitting there for probably Pork Chop 2 or 3 hours after the event.
Man, they were there for a total like 6 hours.
Yeah,
at least.
That's awesome. See, that's where Bengals fans, it's easy to get with these guys, to be able to meet them, to be able to I said this before. Past the Marvin Lewis era, now into the Zach Taylor era, now more than ever, the fan base is more connected to the players than they ever have been. And that's through social media. That's through these events. That's through what Elizabeth is doing. That's through what Katie's doing. This is a change that the organization absolutely needed. And you just absolutely love to see it, that the fan base is so connected to these players.
Hey. Well, I think it's twofold there. They bring in high character guys that are out there doing stuff for charity, and they're out there and they're just nice guys. They're good, open, genuine people, number one, in general. Or for some ex-players who are just assholes. Right, Pork Chop?
Yes. Yeah, they are. Don't get
Pork
me started.
Chop used to be a bouncer, but...
Yeah. Hey, also, you were talking about the Blackburns being connected to the fan base. Well, in Greg's section, is it Katie or is it Elizabeth Blackburn sits in the section?
Watching Elizabeth.
No. We can't say. But
don't say.
I won't say the section, but she's like up there in the 300s, man. She's not in the box. She's watching the game.
That's her spot. She sat there all season.
No, as a fan, fellas, there's nothing you want more than your ownership group to sit with you at a game, cheering on your team, and to be able to celebrate with you. I mean, her walking past people, probably either signing autographs, talking to them about the team, engaging with them. She knows, man. Elizabeth knows. She's my age.
Yeah.
She knows the intensity, the energy that this fan base has towards this team. She knows the love that we've had for this team for so long and how much we've just wanted them to just try from that aspect, from the social aspect of connecting the fan to the player.
Well, I met her at Taste of Bengals, just one of the nicest people you'd ever meet. You would never thought, I'm related to the Bengals ownership. She is not like that at all. Just such a very humble person. You look at her in interviews, she actually goes out and talks to people. She would be a perfect candidate for undercover boss who goes undercover and asks people. She would have been she would fit perfectly on that show because she goes and talks to people. I mean, she's like just such a humble person, someone you could who knows what the fans think. She knows what they're thinking.
The one post that I saw was I think it was when they did the Superfans event, right? And that was because the jerseys came out and some Superfans had some great things to say about it. They ended up getting to go to the stadium. One of the fans ended up asking her where she got her jacket, and she ended up giving them the jacket off of her back.
It was Yas. I remember that. Yes.
When have you ever seen that out of an owner, or when have you ever seen that out of somebody that is prominent within an organization, just giving you the jacket off of their back? It speaks to, what has happened, the transition of her taking over, and this just absolutely reshaping itself.
Well, I'm pretty sure they all had a beer together. So, who wouldn't want to fucking have a beer with their favorite teams, ownership group,
Right.
No, but no. I remember that was Yas. Yas was talking about that. She's like, "Oh, that's a nice jacket." She's like, "Oh, here, you want it?" No, I remember she was talking about that on the show. She said it was so unbelievable. Just the more you learn about it, I can't wait till she owns the team. I fully trust her being the owner one of these days. 100%.
But the experience now at a
Yes.
football game, better than it's ever been.
Absolutely.
So good.
Yeah, the night games are unreal. The investment they made in the lights, just to make it a spectacle instead of just another game. Like everything they've done.
Just think about where we were at 5 years ago. Nobody's bitching about the ownership right now.
No.
I mean, when Mike Brown walked across the field and he's wearing that starter jacket or whatever, people were making good comments. They weren't saying anything shitty about him right now.
Absolutely.
We can talk some Reds, David, but yeah, no one wants to have a beer with Castellini.
No. Not even on fucking 3-2-1 night.
No, 5-1. I have to ask. I mean, like, look, I'm over it now. Happy the Reds are winning, but when the comments, where you going to go? I wanted to say much people when you want about Mike Brown, but I have never in my life here make any such comments like that ever in my life.
What if kind of threatened to move? Like,
well, I hope you don't kill me for saying this, but what a fucking moron to come out and to show the fan base a PowerPoint on why the team won't make a playoff, and now he looks like a complete idiot because the team is playing so well that it seems like it's going to be difficult for them not to make a playoff. Like, there's just too many studs for them to fail at this point. So what an idiot. Why would you ever? And talk about doing that before the season started, right? Before you're trying to get people to come to the ballpark to watch your team, to invest in your team, to have that camaraderie. What a buffoon. An absolute buffoon.
I mean, where else are you going to go?
Where are you going to go, 513?
And guess what? FCC first place. They sell out every night they play in Cincinnati.
We're going to the game. Me and Greg are going to the game on the 1st. We don't even watch soccer. We're going to the goddamn game because it's electric, man. The vibe in Cincinnati is hot. You can feel the electricity in the air.
That's why we're three-way city, man. All three teams right now, just hot. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better situation, man, right?
Don't forget, Greg, the Cyclones were in the playoffs this year, too.
All right, four-way, man. We'll do four-way. I'm cool with that, too, man.
You can have it three-way. You can have it four-way. We're not going to judge.
Doesn't matter at all, man.
We need our basketball team back. We need the Royals.
Yes, we do.
Let's do it, man.
Let's do it. But, yeah, man, I mean, like I said, this is just an exciting time in general to be a Cincinnati fan. Like I say, I'm happy the Reds are doing better, but I just quit watching the Reds because of that comment last year. But I'm just so happy I have something that distracts me before football season because I'm sure you're like me. I'm like, this is going by so slow this summer has. Like, I need something to keep me going right now. And I'm so happy the Reds are – I have that excitement back for the Reds.
Now, I will toss in the Votto thing, right? Votto's back, and I know our buddy Coach Cam's been on there like, okay – how much does he really fit in? Could this hinder this young team with him just jumping in? And I mean, he wasn't even really hitting at the AAA level, and he's 39 years old. So I know this is not a popular topic, but if we're going to talk Reds, I feel like it's a fair thing to talk with. Votto coming back, he's in the lineup tonight, right? Batting, I think sixth. Is that what?
Yep.
That what it was? So I'll ask you game one, and then Greg and Chop, you can answer that too. Do you see? I mean, not that Votto's not a high character guy, this, that, and the other, but do you see just the way the team's been playing that him coming back could stifle them in a way? Just maybe play on the field even, or is that just blasphemy? And we're not allowed to talk about it?
No. I think part of he's right. I think the other part is. So in June, I think he ended up with 9 hits and 37 at-bats. He had like a 162 average, but his OBP was over 300. I think it was 358. So he had 13 walks in the month of June. I mean, if he's still walking at that clip, I think where the team sees the value is just for him to just get on base and then the guy behind him to be able to hit. So Stevenson's that guy. Or, it in a given night, it could be Steer or somebody of that nature to knock in guys. You're just talking about a free base runner at this point in his career, either getting a single or a walk. But the average itself and what he does for the team, I just think he brings a veteran presence to the team that they haven't had. Now, having said that, I remember Ken Griffey Jr.'s end. and it came fairly abruptly at the beginning of that year 40 mark, right? So it feels like it's close to that. We'll see, but I hope to God he turns it around because I love Joey Votto.
I would love to see him part of all this, winning, and he's just a piece of it, and then they do make a run. That would be awesome. Craig, you flipped your fucking whole setup around.
Well, man, we're talking Reds, man, so I had to switch on the other side of the room and all that, man. I figured I'd give this a try and all that, but Joey Votto, like, I know there was talk, like, he might be a cancer in the locker room, or like, he might be a problem. Like, he has never in his life ever been a problem or anything.
I was going to say, I want to I was definitely not saying. I know, like, I just want to clarify that. I was
No. I just saw it was posted somewhere, and he's never in his life ever been a problem or anything and all that. I just look at his, hey, we're adding an extra weapon right here, in Joey Votto. So I don't think it would be an issue at all or anything.
That's what I was thinking. You know what? I'm not saying he was going to be a cancer, but I was like, the team has got this chemistry going on now. Right. And then here we bring Votto back in. I didn't watch the Reds before, I didn't watch baseball. I'm going to be honest. I thought the game was fucking boring as shit. You go in there. I tried it when that guy, they had that pitcher from Washington or whatever came into town, Strasburg, right? Long time ago. And I'm like, man, I need something besides football. So I turned that game on when he came to the Great American Ballpark. Fucking place was sold out. Everybody wanted to watch that kid. So I'm at home and I'm like, oh yeah, that game's on. So let me just try to get into baseball. I need something besides football because the offseason, there's just not shit. So I turned it on. It's like the 5th inning, right? And I'm like watching it, and it's so fucking slow. Now they sped up the pitch thing, so it's a little bit faster, but I'm like, fuck this. I turned it off. I turned on another show. I watched a whole other show. And I turned it back on. It was the 7th inning. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. What the hell? I was like, fuck it. I wasn't doing baseball. And then I just started watching like a month ago. I'm a bandwagon motherfucker for the Reds.
I am too.
I am on the bandwagon. I'm helping motherfuckers on. Like, let's go. Yeah. And I'm worried about the chemistry. But Jimmy, our buddy Cincy Jimmy, a friend of the show, man, he broke it down to me. He was like, he's not going to come in there and misplace somebody else. He said, because I asked about Spencer Steer. I said, well, where's he going to go? They're going to, he hit a fucking home run yesterday. So they're getting rid of him. And he's like,
playing outfield tonight. Yeah.
That's it. He said they're going to play him on outfield. Votto be first base. And all we're doing is add another weapon. And Jimmy said that Joey Votto has an incredible eye with a bat, and he's like the best player, if not one of the best players, the best player in the game to be able to see the ball the way it's coming, and he's a huge asset to the team. And I trust, the people that we fuck with, and Jimmy's one of the guys I fuck with. And so if he's telling me that this is an added weapon, I trust Jimmy like I trust Lou Anarumo with our defense.
Well, I would just say for me personally, I was so ready to bring up Encarnacion Strand, who's hitting like almost 350, that if we were going to be bringing up somebody, I kind of wish it was him. Maybe that's just my part of me. Like, I think he would have the better impact. And that's not a knock on Votto. Like, some of these young guys we're bringing in are absolute fucking like stud potential superstars.
Right.
We have a shitload of them, and it's working. Abbott, the pitching, the guys, everybody they're bringing up is like hitting the top notch of, and well, not even the top notch of what they could be, because Ellie is kind of in a slump. Yet he changes games by fucking running down the base path and fucking hustling, and he's so damn fast.
Yeah.
Then we hit a fucking 2-run homer right after that, and tie the fucking game yesterday.
Imagine when he's not in a slump. Right now, Encarnacion Strand is batting .348. He has 17 home runs, 47 RBIs, and he has a 1.108 OPS in AAA. Okay,
I can't do this. I just got the show. I just got the new show. I had to get the new show. The Reds are so exciting.
We would absolutely love to have that on the team. But let me say this. So, a couple things. Number one, you talked about being a bandwagon, Pork Chop. I don't think you're a bandwagon. I just think that Cincinnati fans, more than any other fan base, will go to a game when the team is good. And we drive accountability by not going to games. We drive accountability by not watching the team. It's not that we don't love the team. We don't like the owner, personally. That's number one. But
we want to see an effort into winning.
Yes,
somehow.
Exactly. That's it. We want to see that effort. Somebody who gives a shit about the fan base and cares about winning meaningful games, especially when it comes time to September, October.
Or the players are so fun, like these young guys, that you just can't help but.
The beautiful part about these young players, we have never had this much athletic talent on this roster. Ever. Maybe ever, right? Ellie, McLean, Steer, India.
Benson's a hell of an athlete, too.
There's so many great athletes on this roster, fellas. So many great. And then you're talking about the pitching staff. We've got young guys that just came out of the minors last year or the year prior, and they're playing really well. The Hunter Greens of the world, the Lodolos of the world. And so this team, and then Abbott.
Abbott hasn't given up a run.
Abbott hasn't even given up a run.
It's like the Bengals, man. They're young. They don't know that they're supposed to lose, you know?
Exactly.
That's where it is, man. Because with the Reds, we haven't won a playoff series in how long, right? It's been maybe 95.
Yeah, I believe
the
so.
last time when we went to the NLCS and lost to the Braves. So the Reds, like right now, these guys are feeling the exact same way those Bengals were feeling in 21.
Yes.
They don't give a shit about the person, nor do they know
and
anything
in 21,
about it.
We didn't start off great in 21 either. You know what I'm saying? And went to this fucking Super Bowl. And the Reds are coming they're half game out, right? Am I right?
Half game out of first place, right?
Well, 5-3, you brought up a good point, because everybody thinks the breaking point was that Steelers game where our third string quarterback was playing, and they asked, I forget if it was Von Bell or somebody, they're like, look, a lot of us were on the Bengals at the time. We don't give a crap about the Steelers. We've all beaten the Steelers on separate teams and all that. And like you just said with the Reds right now, like, we don't know about the past. We're just here to win right now.
You think Ellie De La Cruz cares that they got no hit by Roy Halladay? No.
Hell no.
He doesn't care. He's going to go out there. He's going to give it his all, and he's probably going to succeed. Because dude is tremendously athletic. And like all of these guys, there's probably 8 or 9 guys on this roster that I said the window right now, fellas, it's 5 years. 5-year window.
Yes.
I mean, when was the last time we had 5 years?
We just don't have it because it's usually, you got multiple veterans, or you're like, we're going to have to make X amount of trades to really compete here. We're kind of in the middle. Are we a rebuild? Are we going for it? We don't know what we're doing, even in the good years. Like, this just feels different, and it feels special.
I'm telling you, goddamn, this year, I just feel like this year, man, we could have the MLS Cup. I feel like we could have the World Series, and I feel like we could have the fucking Lombardi all in the same year right here in fucking Cincinnati. Cincinnati, Ohio.
Titletown, USA.
Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go.
And things happen in multiples, Pork Chop. When the Bucks won the Super Bowl, the Lightning won the championship for the NHL. When the Atlanta Braves won the World Series, the Georgia Bulldogs won the national championship. When the Patriots were winning Super Bowls, the Red Sox won a couple World Series during that same time. So it's absolutely possible to have multiples, and it's happened in the past time and time again. It could happen in Cincinnati.
I'm telling you right now, man, we get the World Series and the Lombardi this year. I'm fucking going on top of the Crew Tower and taking all my goddamn clothes off.
So 5-3, I posted this on Twitter. This was a fun topic. Ellie De La Cruz. I mean, you look how athletic he is, big dude, runs fast. If he was on the Bengals, if he played in the NFL just in general, what position would you put him at?
Yeah, there's no other position than wide receiver, dude. I mean, you're talking about
wide receiver's number 1, but I said corner's number 2. Yeah. A lot of people said he's tall, but he is fast as shit for his height.
6'5" corners.
But he is so fast, though.
Can I tell you that Chris? So the fastest sprint speed in the NFL was 22.74 miles per hour last year. Ellie De La Cruz runs the base paths 30.6 miles per hour, fellas.
Oh, my God. This motherfucker.
Okay. So, I mean, we're talking about a guy that probably would annihilate the 4.2 easily, I think. Easily. And you're talking about a guy who would be the fastest wide receiver in the NFL. I would love to see him at wide receiver for the Bengals.
Dude, I think years ago. I remember we drafted John Ross. That we so badly wanted to do a race between John Ross and Billy Hamilton, but Marvin's like, "Oh no, but John Ross doesn't need to get hurt." Well, he got hurt anyway, but no, that's a different story and all that. I forget who was it. They said I think it was DJ Turner and De La Cruz.
They were saying Jeff was saying Strawberry Ice was saying Chase. And I'm like, what about DJ Burner?
For the team, he was saying you want to draw like people into it. It would be Chase, bigger name against Ellie De La Cruz because DJ Turner being a rookie. But I said just toss in 4 or 5 guys. Then you toss in DJ Turner and shit. Bo Jackson's nephew apparently ran a 4.25. I've seen that the other day. Who's on in here as an undrafted free agent at wide receiver. I'm like, shit, toss him in that race too.
There you go. Get a
Yossi Bosch.
I knew that one was coming, Greg.
Yeah, that was coming. Come on, I had to
get a couple guys. They did say that he ran it was like a 5.42 and a 60-yard. They do 60-yard dashes.
Yeah, they have tackle on. Yeah, that he does is a 60-yard.
I mean, that's still incredibly fast. They're talking when this guy came up, they were saying he had the fastest triple ever recorded. I think that was that might have been his second hit or his third hit. And then he also had the fastest first base time. He also had the fastest first base of the team that year on his very first hit, and then he had the fastest double on the team in his second hit. So I mean, this guy is electric speed.
Yeah, here's 7 feet per second, 30.8, fastest in baseball.
Hey, when he gets on first base, they just might as well let him go ahead and go to third. I mean, because he's going to steal the motherfucker.
I would have him stealing too when he does get on. I'd have him stealing basically every time, unless
every single time.
He reminds me of Bo Jackson because Bo Jackson could hit an easy ground out. He was so fast to get on first base, and that's exactly what De La Cruz is doing right now.
As long as he doesn't strike out, the man's
I think the one that you're looking at is Ricky Henderson's steal record. That's the one you got to watch out for, fellas, because I think he's played in how many games? He's played in maybe 10, 12 games, and it seems like every time he gets on or every other time he gets on, it's like he's getting a steal or two a game. So this guy is crazy.
Yeah. So Michael Coffey here for the podcast listeners is saying that's about 21 miles per hour. So the way the NFL does it and the way baseball does it,
then
it's a different way that they calculate it, but it's still very close to the elites. You'll see, this run he's right there in that mix.
Yeah.
And he hasn't had 300-pound guys that he just went through the line worried about,
I heard 30. I'm sticking with 30.
So 5.3. Another one, McLean. I mean, McLean just gets on base like crazy and all that, man. He is just an absolute dynamite. I mean, he's going to be that Barry Larkin type of guy. I think Dale was talking about this. He'll be a better average guy than probably La Cruz will. I mean, La Cruz is still the best all-around player, but McLean, I have to add in this also. Since his name is McLean and Die Hard gets brought up, please be on my good side here. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Oh, man. I think it's got to be, right?
No!
Change your name.
Your name is off the list. No, you're not my best. You're not my best friend anymore.
Hey, but I'll tell you what my favorite.
No, it's late. You're not my best friend.
I'll tell you what my favorite Christmas movie is, though. My favorite Christmas movie is obviously Christmas Vacation.
What?
Chevy Chase.
I hate. We did a whole Christmas bracket, and I told him I hate Christmas. Dude, you're really good. Home Alone 2 is number 1. Home Alone 2, then Home Alone.
Home Alone 2. I love Home Alone 2. I love it. Honestly, personally, I would just say if I'm trying to get a fired up action movie during Christmas time, it's probably Die Hard that I'm thinking of, right?
Did anybody ever watch what was that? Violent Night with the guy who was on Stranger Things?
Yes.
Because I watched it and I said, that's really fucking good. Did you think it was good, Chop?
Yeah, I thought it was great, man. I love that movie, Violent Night.
You guys will have to check it out. It just came out this past Christmas or whatever, but it's out now on DVD.
You haven't seen it, Game On?
No, I haven't seen it.
It's probably on one of those streaming services now.
Mm-hmm. It's got the sheriff from Stranger Things. He's Santa Claus.
Okay. Yeah.
He's Santa Claus, and he goes
and he fucks shit up.
But it all makes sense in a way, even of
right
why he is who he is.
Yeah, so 513 on Rally 1 Friday night. It was me, Santori, James, and Dale here. We just did a Christmas movie bracket, and it got a little intense with me, especially, and all that and stuff. And like when I said I hate Christmas Vacation, I think they were like, "Are you serious?"
What the fuck, David?
David, go away. I hate you. I don't even met you. But Dale, I don't care if that's your brother or not. Tell me to get the hell out of here.
I mean, I like Home Alone and I like Forrest Gump, so we clearly disagree here.
Hey, those are classics, right?
Yeah.
Forrest Gump classic, Home Alone classic.
And then Gremlins. Greg's too scared to fucking watch Gremlins, Crip.
Right.
It's not a Christmas. Nightmare Before Christmas is not a Christmas movie. I like
Gremlins and cats, man. Greg can't do them.
I can't do it, man.
I got fucking a shit ton of cats in my house, and when they dropped me off Four Locos, Greg wouldn't come anywhere near the door to walk me in.
No, absolutely not.
I saw him on my Ring doorbell hanging out all the way back by the street.
But 513, other than La Cruz, obviously, like whether it's McLean or anybody else that just came up or Abbott, is like who's the other rookie you're just so excited?
Change that subject real quick,
real fast. They're talking about cats. He's like, "What about McLean?"
It's gotta be McLean. But I mean, for me, I'm really, really just excited about Abbott, man. I'm really excited about Abbott. I mean, a guy that goes 17 and a third without giving up a run, and he looks good. And the strikeouts aren't there yet, but when they come in, man, we could be talking about Cy Young winner.
Yes.
I mean,
a guy that young that's that good. Not a guy you had to get in free agency that then's gonna turn into a total crazy bastard that won the Cy Young.
Everybody's like, "Oh, it's easy, no runs." It's like, why hasn't it been done since 1893? Then I'm sorry, I'm believing in this guy.
Yeah, when I saw that, I said, "Wait, 1890?" I said,
"1893." I'm like, "Damn."
That doesn't say 19. I said, "That 1893."
Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm like, did they get that right? I'm like, gee, I didn't even know they had news from 1893.
Baseball's weird, man. They got stats from way back. But yeah, man, we've done. Chop, you got work too, don't you?
Yeah, it was just, I'm having such a good time. I know I got to go to work.
Well,
they frown on it when you come in late.
Yeah, and you better watch those balls. I mean, you already got them hanging out.
I know. Don't worry, man. Hey, when I'm in the shower, just like every guy, that part gets scrubbed the most.
There you go.
True.
Lather.
Armpits and balls.
Let me ask you guys, how about so for Thanksgiving, there's a Thanksgiving movie that I absolutely love. I watch it every year for Thanksgiving. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I mean,
that's a great movie. Yes.
So every Thanksgiving, before Thanksgiving, after Thanksgiving, I gotta watch it multiple times. Those two guys.
Right.
Is it back? Is he back, Greg? Is he back?
You want to hurt me? Go right ahead. It makes you feel any better.
Yeah, John.
I'm an easy target. Dude, that is what. All right, so you're back on my good side now. I like it.
Had to end on the good side.
Yeah,
there you go. I had to.
We'll save best running
back.
Thank God.
We don't want you guys to meet in public in fucking Big Savage.
No, man. No, I'll go with because I have been in Savage mode. It's not pretty. So, yeah.
Best running. Oh, I want to do best running back.
All right, who is it?
Oh, shit. I need to think about this, actually.
No, there's no thinking.
Are you going to hate me if I say Marshall Falk?
I like Marshall Falk, but it's Barry Sanders. I like Marshall Falk, though. But it's
Barry Sanders was the whole team, though. Barry Sanders, like Corey Dillon's super underrated, too, man.
Yeah.
Corey Dillon, for his era, what he did, he was the whole team. Think about Akili Smith, Scott Mitchell, these quarterbacks, terrible. Towards the end of his career, he had Jeff Blake, finally a competent enough quarterback.
Right.
But, I mean, he was the entire team, Corey Dillon was. And you're talking about Carl Pickens and Darnay Scott on the same roster.
Right.
Theft that we didn't have a good quarterback then. But you're right. Barry Sanders, when he played, man, okay, that's fair. That's fair because they compared him to Walter Payton. Walter Payton was incredible, too.
Did Greg just change your mind game on?
Yeah, Marshall Falk, though, for me. So growing up, right? Madden just came out.
He said Marshall Falk still, Greg. Get
up. Oh, okay. Well, I was close.
I
like
Marshall Falk on what was it? I think it was either PS2 or PlayStation in like 99, 2000, and The Greatest Show on Turf. Marshall Falk, Kurt Warner, Torrey Holt. I mean, that was my childhood, man. That's what. I mean, he was just so spectacular what he could do in the pass. Because he was a receiver as well as a running back. And there wasn't many guys like him in the league. But I'll give it to you. Barry Sanders is right freaking there for me. I mean, that's
get a room.
tough.
Get a fucking room.
Hey, I bet you Greg doesn't have any pants on either. I bet when he switched that fucking camera over to the red side, he slipped his pants off.
Yeah. My brother's favorite Thanksgiving movie is The Lions getting the shit kicked out of him every
Yeah,
year.
that's
tradition unlike any other. Right?
Dale, what did I do to David here? I already met David, and he's already shitting on me right now. What have I done to him?
You got that goddamn baby face, man. David likes a.
What have you said to me about him? What have you said about me to him? Is the question.
That it's so fun to give you shit. You get so fired up.
That adds up.
That's what I literally said to him last week.
Yeah, because at the end, so at 513, like at the end of the,
I told you he's already typing it out before I even said it.
No, so 513, like I got this huge debate between Strawberry and Dale, and at the end, like, yeah, Greg, we agree with him. Like, what the hell was the point of this 5-minute rampage I was on? Just to see you.
It was entertaining.
Hey, when you get going, you get fired up. You're like me, man. So
yeah, dude.
I've had it before where friends just try to fire you up to get you on a rant, and then once you get going, they're like, "We were just
so I got a family member that tries to do it to me more, but I just give him answers he doesn't want to hear because he tries to get me riled up, and I just give him answers he doesn't want to hear. It's like, what the heck, Greg? And I'm like,
I will say, I do think Randy Moss should be in the conversation for best receiver ever.
Dale, stop.
If we're saying based on talent like Barry Sanders, because Barry Sanders didn't win and like Rice won, and yeah, he holds a lot of records, but he also did it for like 20 years, you know.
Is it? I mean, it's Rice. It's T.O. and it's Moss, right? Those are the three.
But like Moss was so special with like, I don't know, T.O. is a freak too. But
Moss would go for like,
and maybe Moss just hit me
yards.
at my time, you know. Moss like hit me at my time. I'm 38, so like when he was coming up, it was just like so fun to fucking watch him as a rookie, as everything. All right,
I got to peace out. You guys stay on here and bullshit.
Well, we're almost an hour and a half in. We'll just have to do
ruin
it again,
a good time.
We got to do this again, man.
Yeah,
for sure.
All right, man.
Absolutely.
Game on. Appreciate it, man. You were awesome as always.
Hey, I tell everybody, look, hey, if you want to, whoever's listening, if you want to have me on your podcast, all you got to do is ask. Some people are just afraid to ask. I literally look at all of my DMs. If you want to DM me, you want me on your podcast, we'll talk Bengals. I'd love to do it.
Absolutely, man.
This will not be the last, trust me.
Let me say one thing before we go, unrelated to that, but something we got going on. Game on. I want to pimp it out before we go. Is we're getting ready to give away an autographed Ted Karras.
Well, Game on did a $50 donation as well. So
wow.
Oh, good. So this could be your hat. Game on.
Yeah.
Signed by Ted Karras. Who Day?
Man,
Ted Karras 64.
We're
going to be giving that away. Ted Karras is going to be on the show soon, and he's going to announce the winner. This charity, the Village of Marici, takes care of adults with Down syndrome and autism, which is very close to me. My grandson has autism. So it's a real close charity to me. And so far, I mean, we have raised over $1,000 for this charity on this hat giveaway. And we're looking to go more. So, but the time is running out. So anybody that wants to get in on this, all you got to do is go to, if you go to the Cincy Hat, on Twitter, you can link up to the Cincy Hat. You can buy a hat, make a purchase. The
website is thecincyhat.com.
You can
as well
purchase a hat,
a
T-shirt. They have polos. You purchase any of those and send us a DM with your proof of purchase, and we'll enter you to win. Or you can just simply make a minimum donation of $10, and you can send us the proof of that, and we'll also put you in the raffle to win this hat. And that we don't know when it's going to be over. The raffle, it's going to be very soon. Because we've been in contact with Ted, and so he's going to be coming on soon to announce the winner. So everybody go make a purchase, make a donation for a great fucking cause. That's the best prize right there, is making a donation to that charity. And then just for doing that, you got a chance to win this autographed Ted Karras hat.
Yeah. And Game On, thank you for your donation.
Yes, thank you.
This was awesome.
Yeah, awesome.
What a tremendous person Ted Karras is.
Oh, he's amazing. We're so blessed to have
100%.
Is there another guy? I hope you guys watched that Pat McAfee episode where he went on and basically just said, man, ever since I've come to Cincinnati, I just feel the love of the city within me. I reciprocate that back to them we all want to win a Super Bowl, and it's not just for us guys. It's absolutely for the city of just amazing fans.
And we
that are out
love
there.
him.
No. When he was at the Holy Grail, he was going around cheering, hyping up all the fans. You would have thought he was a Cincinnati guy his entire life. He shows it everywhere he goes.
He said he went from Boston D-lister to Cincinnati A-lister.
Yes.
Wow.
Man, Ted,
Look at that.
thank you, Ted, for being
love you,
just
Ted.
you, man.
Love you, Ted.
And thank you,
Absolutely.
Game On, for the donation. I know Chop, your friend John, come through with the big purchase and donation last night.
John went all three ways. He got a shirt, a hat, and a donation.
He did a three-way
That's three-way
split,
John.
But man, I'm just so thankful. And like I said, $10, that's just the minimum. Through every little bit helps, man.
All you gotta
We're so
do.
thankful, man, for all of you. I know Poor Chop was a little emotional. Got me a little emotional last night. Just talking about what we're able to just help with it,
Right.
is really awesome, man. So we appreciate being able to just be a small part of it. So, but yeah, go to work, Poor Chop. Wash your dirty balls.
I'm going to wash my balls, and I'm taking them to the hospital.
Yes.
All right. I'm out, man. I love you guys.